And welcome into Getting Help with Uncle Sam. You know, we're very blessed in the city of Montgomery and Montgomery County to have a good DA office. The Chief Deputy District Attorney is Azzie Oliver, and so glad to have you with us. And I want to say something. This young lady, when she speaks, listen to what she has to say.
Well, thank you.
Because it's very important, but you don't pull any punches.
No.
which is very nice. And our topic today, and for the next couple of segments we're going to do with Azzie, is crime. And crime doesn't just start yesterday, it builds up, doesn't it?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, what we have going on in Montgomery, the high crime rate, all the violence that we are experiencing didn't just happen overnight. Mm-hmm. This started as a culmination of things and circumstances that have been lacking in Montgomery. And it just came together and it has caused the perfect storm. So it's something that won't be repaired overnight, and that's what Montgomery needs to be aware of.
And right now, seems like there's just a big influx of murders.
Right.
You know?
Violence all over the city. Yes, not just Montgomery.
No,
it is local. It is a national problem. However, we have seen our share of Montgomery, and it's quite terrifying for all of the citizens that live in Montgomery. And again, you know, the breakdown is lack of education, lack of activities for the children, lack of community involvement. It's just a number of things that come together. And it is a problem, you know, east side, west side, you know, all over town. And I think people are finally becoming aware of just how serious the problem is.
And is it focused more on younger people? Is there kind of like, if you were to say like from about ages 18 to 26, would that be the majority? Or are we seeing older people?
And when you say, are you talking about the majority of those who are being affected or those who are committing the crime?
Committing the crime.
More of younger people are committing the crime.
Than ever before.
Than ever before.
Yes.
We have our share of people who are in the system who are older, but as I see it, more and more young people are becoming involved in crime. They're becoming involved in gang activities. And then you have someone who may start off with a burglary breaking into people's houses. They get emboldened, and then it turns into a robbery. And then quite honestly and unfortunately, murder where they're taking lives.
And of course, a lot of this is fueled by drugs.
It is fueled by drugs. It is fueled by gang activity. Our children have to have something positive to be involved in. I have children. They're involved in athletic and in sports, and I keep them involved in school. They're involved in church. So
this mother knows what her children are doing.
Right.
Yes,
and you do.
That's the key.
We have to supervise our children. We have to provide guidance. They can't, you know, my children, when they go somewhere, I know where they're going, I know who they're going to be with, and I know the purpose. You can't just walk out the house, Mama, I'm gone and I'll see you. I know what time you're coming back. If plans change, my child calls me and lets me know. So we as parents, we have to parent. A lot of the children are in the clubs with their children. The children in the clubs with the parents, or hanging out in the same places where their parents. Once you have a child, you assume the responsibility of that child. You have certain things you have to instill in that child before, in my opinion, before they come age 12. Everything you're going to pour into that child has to be poured in at a young age, because once they get to middle school and they're being exposed to other children, they're being exposed to other negative influences, and it's good and bad. But the negative influence, if you haven't raised them, the streets are going to raise them.
And basically, a lot of these children now, they're in obviously single-parent households.
Right.
The mother's got to do a lot of work.
Right.
So a lot of the burden for raising children has been put on a lot of my audience people, grandparents.
Right. And we, you know, and grandparents have stepped in and filled in the gap where parents have not or could not. And I commend grandparents for doing that. But keep in mind, times have changed. A lot of our grandparents are still having to work. Groceries are higher. They have to have jobs. And quite frankly, it does fall on the parent. It's there. You know, nobody owes you nothing. Your parent gave you life. You chose to bring somebody into this world. But I do commend the grandparents. You know, we need them because this if you look at the way crime is occurring, some of the same names that I saw in juvenile, their fathers and their mothers were in the criminal justice system, so it's generational. So once one generation lack getting what they need to produce a law-abiding citizen, that can become a generational, what we call generational curses that have to be broken. And so somebody along the way have to step in and fill in that gap. And if the parents aren't doing it, a lot of times our grandparents who are stepping in and do it, they're the ones who've instilled the value. They're the ones that are starting to provide the stability for their child in the best way that they can.
And of course, like you say, the parents, it's been a lot of burden on them right now too.
Right. Again, families suffer. We all know that having a complete family foundation it contributes to the success of our children, contributes to the success of our community. And you have mothers and fathers, quite frankly, some who are doing the best that they can in a single parent household. But we as a community also have to step in and fill in the gap. We have to, the city and local government have to provide activities and recreation activities for the children. Our schools are having to step into the gap. At the Montgomery County DA's office, we try to get involved through a program within the schools, but there is only so much when we can do when we are charged with prosecuting cases. So you have to look at it from a standpoint, you have to treat the problem at the same time, simultaneously. You prevent crime. So you're reaching the children, you're reaching the kids, those who can give parenting skills or have expertise in that area, provide a foundation for parents or resources for parents to help children and to help the family structure. Education, we have to work on it. All of these things over time have been chipped away at and broken down. They have to be repaired simultaneously and be rebuilt over time in order for us to improve the crime problem in Montgomery.
And just remember, as Azzie said, we need to be involved both as parents and grandparents. We're going to be doing more segments with Azzie addressing crime in central Alabama. And we'll be right back right after this.